Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Bommer. This is their part number 15004-626, rim, bolt, and keeper. And I have one here removed from the packaging so we can take a closer look at it. It's a rim bolt is what it is. It's a bolt because it's not a latch, and it's a rim. It's a rim because from the way it's been explained to me, it installs around the rim or the outer perimeter of the door. And it's a bolt because, again, it's just a bolt. It has a spring in the back that allows it to have that not only action on the bolt that prevents it from just sliding easily back and forth, but that positive sort of snapping action. Wouldn't prevent you from just pushing it. It will go, but it takes a few pounds of force to make that move. Okay, solid brass construction, I would imagine, with the exception of that spring that's back there. Although, it's probably stainless is what it is, because it's very marginally magnetic. This will come with a, you guessed it, a rim strike. And that's what your installation is going to look like. So obviously surface mounted. This would be very appropriate for an in-swinging partition application, where your door, your partition door and your partition jamb will be flush with each other. So you can just easily attach those, surface mount both of those, and it would work very well. Obviously, completely non-handed and reversible. Will include a total of 6 solid brass flathead slotted wood screws. So be mindful, they're made of brass. You're going to want to be sure that you pre-drill the proper size with that, absolutely. Let's take a look at the dimensional properties. Overall height, about 2 inch of the base. Overall width, just shy on 2 inch. The projection of the bolt from the edge of the body, about 13/16. Height, almost 9/16. Thickness, about 3/16. Overall height of the strike, just heavy on 2 inch, 2 1/16. Overall width, about 3/8. Total projection, about 7/16. Projection on this as well. The outside of the knob looks like it's about 13/16. And the body is about 5/16 as well. Okay, great. So that covers this item. This is available in several and many different finishes. Being a brass base material, Bommer can do several finishes. Your brasses, your bronze, your chromes, satin, polished, oil rubbed. They're not powder coating, at least not yet. Powder coating is a very popular process for finishing now. Black, this is the year 2020. Black has been very popular for a couple of years and will probably continue to be popular for quite some time. As we have said to each other, black is the new oil rubbed bronze, and oil rubbed bronze was the new satin nickel, and satin nickel was the new satin chrome. Satin chrome was the new polished brass. Polished brass was the new etched antique bronze, going back to the 70s now. Certain finishes are pretty classic and timeless. Your satin bronze, your satin brass, which is what this is. Polished brass, satin chrome, stainless steel. These finishes have been around for decades and decades, and will continue to do so. And what really happens is just different finishes, they all take their turn in increasing in popularity. Satin brass is by no means very popular currently, but if you look at certain projects that are from the 70s, it'd be very common. We were involved in there was a small library project where they were upgrading some existing doors and adding a couple of new doors. That was all done in satin brass because it's the existing material, and it is quite a regal finish. It's an elegant finish, is what satin brass is. Satin bronze is as well. Polished bronze is a beautiful finish as well, but just not very typical and common nowadays. It'll come back, as all things do, right? Where I see this sort of hardware, the lavatory hardware, would be in high-end hotel applications, high-end installations where other standard partition hardware is just not going to suit. If you're building a I don't know, a $200 million law library onto a Big Ten university, like a major Big Ten university, they're not going to be using that typical sort of material where tuition is $60,000 a year. This is where you're going to see that material, that high-end sort of application. Okay. Let's switch to the screen view and take a closer look at the supporting documentation. Okay, so here's the item that we are looking at, the 1004 rim bolt. Extended description information down here, made of wrought brass. Wrought brass is a term used to describe the method of construction on this material. Cast is the other common sort of method. Wrought is when you are dealing with material that would be more of a flat shape and not require, and can be manufactured by using other tools. Base plate 2x2, we check that. The other dimensional properties, we check that as well. They say these are number 8 screws, 8 by 3/4. I would say that would be reasonably accurate. Definitely. It's too big to be a number 6. There is a link. There are several links down below this video. The first one is this document, which is called Template, even though you're seeing it as cut sheet. It'll be renamed by that time. All of the dimensional properties of this rim bolt are here beyond what we've already discussed, so you can review that at length. And we also have our cut sheet, which is here. The 15004 rim bolt and keeper. Better to call that a keeper than a strike. Nothing really strikes that. It just keeps the door, keeps the lock secured. Again, dimensional properties, etc. There's also a link to the product catalog, which is a 5-page document that allows us to review all things lavatory hardware related from Bommer. Those bolts are on page 1, shutter bolt style. They call them throw latch. Your rim bolt and their keeper. Same concept here, except you'll turn these, and that's more of a handicap compliant version. And onto these you can add occupancy indicators, pull handle, door stop with an integrated hook, stops that integrate the keepers as well when necessary, flat style, clamp style up here, stop only. It's going to be your outswing version that will permit your bolt to pass through when you're doing an outswing version. Partition hardware clamps, mounting brackets, double flange, single flange, L and U shape. Pilaster cover and shoes. If you need to dress up parts of your installation, you can use that material. Now almost done. Last page would show the hinges, full surface, available in standard and hold open function. Clamp style, half clamp style, a half size, and then a more traditional model of a full surface hinge. Okay, why would you want this lavatory hardware? Well, you'd want it because you can purchase all of these parts in architectural finishes, where your latch, your strike, your stop, your occupancy indicator, your handle, okay, your brackets, it can all be ordered in satin brass. And indeed, this client ordered so much material as to equip 4 complete stalls with enough partition hardware to do all of those. It's literally a few dozen pounds of solid brass that's been worked and machined and then put into an architectural finish. So will make a very high-end sort of look and application. Very handy. Speaking of handy, there is a link below this video here to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Bommer products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog that we've kind of touched on earlier. You'll want to take a look at that catalog as it relates to the entire product offering, and we should have a copy of that here. Here it is. 84 pages worth of hardware from Bommer. They're going to be most notably, people will think of them most notably for their double and single acting spring hinges. We happen to have landed on their lavatory hardware summary. Okay. If you do anything with spring hinges, you'll want to take a look at the Bommer catalog. It's thoroughly comprehensive on spring hinges. But as you can see, all sorts of other hinges as well. Your full mortise, your full surface, your half mortise, your slip-in style hinges, your offset leaf style, electrification, security options, different grades, base materials, you know, all sorts of options. Reinforcing, an anchor style. Spring hinges are here, as I had said earlier, and a tremendous quantity of other ancillary hardware. Let's wrap up this video on camera. Okay, in conclusion, a very nice quality item from Bommer. We're going to equip custom fabricated lavatory applications. This material would be your go-to. I can't think of anyone else who makes solid brass lavatory hardware and do so as a comprehensive offering. Now, you can buy lavatory hardware from people who make partitions, you know, Zamac as a base material, possibly stainless steel, but I'm not aware of anyone who will do architectural finishes on solid brass and lavatory hardware other than Bommer. It could be that there is no one else, and that's just how that is. Fun fact about Bommer, there are several fun facts about Bommer. The one that's occurring to me now is there's a gentleman there, at least one, but there's one that you would potentially speak to on the phone, who is in technical support and engineering, and he is among the absolute most valuable of all resources within the industry currently when it comes to technical support and just making clear, using very plain and straightforward language, helping you understand an otherwise complex product line. Without his support, much of dealing with the Bommer product line would have to be left to the mystery of the cosmos. And I thank him very much for not only answering, but tolerating the same question, it seems, over and over sometimes. And he's a invaluable resource. Should this gentleman ever retire, it will be a loss to the industry. Very big shoes there to fill should that day come. If there are any questions on the Bommer 15004-606 rim bolt and keeper, or any other Bommer product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.